Hey guys, it's Jay here and welcome back to the channel. So we've got a Luna Classic update for you, and this from my perspective is a very bullish update. And what I've done here is try to construct it down into a timeline that can help you better understand the economic situation that is playing out not only on the Luna Classic blockchain, but also on the Terra Luna blockchain as well. And moving forward, we need to pay a lot more attention to the Terra Luna blockchain to help us understand we have made the right decision to back the original chain, to remain strong, to ground ourselves firmly, and to continue pushing forward. What we're beginning to see is a very, very sneaky, deceptive move behind the scenes. And I'm currently constructing a video that's going to expose all of this. Previously dormant validators that had moved off to V2 are now coming back to V1. And we're seeing those validators being rejuvenated with Luna Classic coins. So this is another sign that things aren't going the way that they should be over on Terra Luna. And before we go any further, understand the distinction between Terra Classic and Terra Luna. Terra Classic is the original chain. Terra Luna is the chain that was created and the one that is actually caught up in the court case. Terra Classic is the OG, and it's more or less a raging ball waiting to explode. It's a decentralized dream, and a lot of us got involved with Luna Classic because of a simple idea. It's a community-led coin that should provide an equal playing field for all to have an equal opportunity. This isn't about the few, it's about the many. So when it comes down to things going on currently on Luna Classic, as you can see, we haven't got a great deal happening over on Commonwealth, but there are discussions going on. We've got 4 new discussions up. One's a signal proposal for Genuine Labs for their next upgrade, which I think's interesting. Repeg system for Terra Luna Classic, very interesting. Compulsory KYC for all validators, also very interesting. Not a bad idea. But in itself, a decentralized ecosystem, you would have to discuss these things with a lot of different people. And then we've got a proposal to use fairy code proof for the auditing of code. So it is good to see people discussing things. And from my point of view, and this is such a strong point, is to keep the decentralized method of information distribution, because it's going to lead to more content creation. It's going to lead to more coverage. It's going to lead to more people tweeting. It's going to lead to more people wanting to get involved and involve themselves in a situation. And when everybody's openly communicating in a decentralized manner, we have less mishaps. We have less of these centralized power grabs, and everybody keeps everybody relatively in check. And when one group tends to rise above another group, it creates a substantial amount of friction in our ecosystem. And this all just leads to a negative outcome where there's less coverage, there's less talk about it, people are grumpy, and everybody just kind of wants to take the easy option to try get the price to go back up instead of going the high road and really thinking this thing out as to how we could best remedy the situation. So as we can see, we've got up to date there on Commonwealth. So let's move over to some more interesting stuff. And what I want to do here is take you through a timeline. So what has happened is we've seen the arrest, we've seen this court case, we've seen V2 become everything it's turned out to be. And now we are at the point of seeing Terraform Labs agreeing to pay $4.5 billion in a settlement. So we know where we stand with this. So what I've been currently discussing recently is the idea that Terra is getting more and more nails in this coffin, and they are a ticking time bomb at this point. So it wasn't too long ago that we saw this recent exploit that led to around $4 million worth of assets leaving the chain. And this led to a halt a coordinated upgrade to patch that vulnerability. So nail 1 on top of the $4.6 billion nail that had already hit them. We know that Chris Armani is getting paid to settle the whole case itself and act as more or less one of the liquidators to see the thing through. We know TFL are not going to exist after this. We know that there's still substantial amounts of court cases that are backed up against TFL in South Korea, meaning that anyone who takes over centralized ownership of Terra Money and Luna will be responsible for all of those court cases. But it doesn't end there. As we've gone through previously on the channel, we've also got Do Kwon's wife winning fights to retain seized assets in the Terra Luna probe. And these were a significant amount of assets. We're talking about $177 million worth of assets that she's managed to retain in a court battle, whilst we've got hundreds of thousands of people that are possibly affected by one of the worst crashes in crypto history. So it gets even worse. We've seen the flip-flopping with the extradition and the twists and these turns. So we can see here that this has been back and forth and since around November 2024 until this current date. He's still not been extradited at this time. So things are getting even worse. And I explained to everybody, he has to be paying his court fees somehow over there. He has to be paying his lawyers somehow. And I always imagined he was using and utilizing the treasure that he smuggled him up his backside. That's what I assumed he was using to pay his litigation fees, his court fees, his lawyer fees, whatever else he has to pay for out there. That's where I thought it was coming from, but it turns out this is not the case. And before we get onto that, we need to also look at the Three Arrows Capital liquidators now suing Terraform Labs for $1.3 billion. I provided a video on this yesterday. Check it out if you haven't seen it already. Links to that at the end of this video. So we've got another nail in the coffin. We've seen a few significant nails here, and this is probably the biggest kicker that I have seen so far in this whole debacle. It could truly be a Netflix documentary coming to you guys sometime soon. Now, this article goes over everything that's relevant currently in the Montenegro case, and buried right at the bottom, we've got a very interesting statement. The same lawyer is now requesting $500,000 in claims from the Luna estate due to his representation of Do Kwon. It's unclear when he will be extradited or whether it will be to South Korea or the United States. So once again, they are asking for $500,000 from the Luna estate. And if you don't know what the Luna estate is, it was created in order to make the victims of the crash whole, not Do Kwon's lawyer. So I find this very interesting, and what I've done is got one of the court documents that I still have in my packet, and I've looked in to see what the SEC specifically said about this estate. The SEC is mandated to protect investors. The proposed consent judgment helps to ensure that the SEC is meeting this mandate by providing that harmed investors will receive the maximum possible benefits from Terraform's bankruptcy estate, rather than Terraform continuing to spend its dwindling funds on legal fees litigating this matter. So as you've heard, and as you can see, Do Kwon is doing the complete opposite of this. And not only is he managing to retain $177 million worth of estate, he's now wanting the bankruptcy estate, which has been formed to make harmed investors whole again. He's now wanting to drain that as well. And this is what the centralized bodies do. When everything hits the fan, this is what happens. And this is what a centralized body is going to get you. And this is why I believe decentralization is a good thing when things remain decentralization on a power scale, where no one individual group can overpower another group. And it's becoming very clear that we should never ever find ourselves in a position where we have a team like TFL who becomes primarily responsible for the whole chain, because this is what will happen. And we'll end up paying for somebody's court fees, litigation fees, their estate, and anything else they might get themselves wrapped up in during that time. When I look at all of this information and I start to put it together, and we take the initial 4.5 billion first nail, then we see that they had a $4 million hack, second nail. We see Duquan's wife managing to hold back $177 million worth of estate, another nail. We then go to the twists and turns of his extradition and how much this has cost, another nail. We've got Three Arrows Capital now seeking $1.3 billion from Terraform Labs. Where's that going to come from? Well, the likelihood is it's going to come from that bankruptcy estate, another nail. So when do these nails stop arriving for Luna? I don't think they're going to. And this is why we're currently seeing dormant validators from the OG Genesis days of Luna reactivating and reloading up with Luna Classic coins. This is why we're seeing a substantial amount of moving of assets on chain. So it's really important to understand the cause and effect of everything and to try put things into a timeline that can help us better understand how bad this situation is for Luna, but how beneficial this situation is for Luna Classic. This puts us on top. Not only have we got strong on-chain support, momentum, and narrative, we now also have the strong support of Binance. And something I've always found very interesting is CZ Binance need to help the people, the common folk, us, you, everyone. He already loves Luna Classic. He was previously working on a program which was not for profit. What would stop someone like CZ Binance for acting as a guidance counselor for the blockchain, not having a direct input or having direct say and sway, but simply acting as counsel, guiding the chain to greener grass, helping us navigate this tricky area, which a lot of the times we can never find that middle ground. I personally love to find the middle ground, but we've got a lot of people that do not like to find that middle ground. Instead, they would rather remain as a fundamentalist, never change their ideas, regardless of the information that's in front of them, the facts that they have, the evidence that tells them otherwise. They'll still remain like that. And that's where someone like CZ Binance can come in and remove that friction. He could create that middle ground. And when I see people like Elon Musk wanting to get involved with Donald Trump and the whole sector that they're involving themselves in being relatively crypto negative and both of them being relatively crypto positive, anything can happen. Anything can happen. So if you like the content here, consider dropping a like, subscribe if you can, hit the notifications bell to stay informed. And aside that, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.